to obviously get feedback from all you guys. So yeah, we'll get into today. Sweet. So basically today, I'm going to be covering the importance of time management, planning ahead, and being held accountable, which ultimately leads to consistency. I'm a very big, um, I guess, advocate for consistency and how important that is to success. I guess without consistency in any assets of life, whether it is, fitness, getting in shape, whether you're not consistent with your eating or your training, you're not consistent in your relationships, or you're not consistent with something like this, with online business or just business in general, it's going to be very hard to reach these goals that we're all after. So consistency is a big thing, but how do we break that down to actually make it achievable? Um, and also, if I'm just going to go ahead. Any questions, put your hand up, and I will, yeah, answer them as we go. There'll be a Q&A at the end, but yeah, if you got any questions as we go along, make sure, yeah, to let me know. Put your hand up, and yeah, we'll get those answered for you. But basically, if we break down consistency, it is, time managing your time correctly, which is, planning ahead, being held accountable, which then equals consistency, and then consistency equals success, which is what we're all after. So some things I'll be covering today, some things that can make it easier for all of you guys, is to stop feeling busy and stop being busy and being productive. I speak to a lot of people just coming in or been in for a few months where they struggle with constantly feel like they're very busy, but like they're not doing enough. It's something I've struggled with a lot and only really got sorted out recently. But really getting that busy feeling gone and actually being productive with your time, which will then unlock, more freedom, more time to focus on the stuff you want to focus on. And if you can get onto this now, as someone just coming in, if you're new, you're only a few months in, at least a good habits early on. So whereas someone, I guess, like myself early on, struggled with, I guess, always being busy and then not getting the work I'd done needed. If you can get into these habits early on rather than like learning the hard way later on, it will trickle into your new life post your 9 to 5. Um, so it is really important you take action on this early. It's, consistency is everything, and it's, we can break that down and make it easier for all you guys. Something we've been talking about in our Centurion group is, we're making all this money. We're busy every single day, doing long hours because we're feeling busy, right? And it's like, you don't want to be making all this money. You don't want to work so hard just to be depressed motherfuckers, dreading every day ahead. It doesn't make sense to be feeling like every single day, you're waking up, you've got out of your job and you're like dreading the day ahead, right? It doesn't make sense. So, and that can happen like when you're not productive with what you're actually doing. You're just constantly busy. You're doing stuff for 5, 6, 7 hours every day when it could be done, time managed. And, we'll get into that later on. But basically, we want to enjoy the life that we've ultimately worked hard for and created. So how do we do that? How do we break that down, and how do we make that a possibility? And doing this, it will empower you all to do more, achieve more, and it ultimately will fast track your progress to your dream life. Obviously coming in here, from the mentors, you take their advice and it halves your time. And then someone like myself, who's been here for a little bit, a lot of mistakes I've made, I can then give you the advice that I've taken to, half the time you see your results. Because, at the end of the day, we're all here for one reason or another, one strong reason. And yeah, just ultimately, ensuring that we get success for all of you. So breaking down consistency, because yeah, I truly believe that consistency is everything, and pretty much the only reason I'm in the position I'm in today. So a quick story time. If you don't know me, I'm Cooper. I'm 21. I've been here since about April this year, the start of April, right? Working as a chippy apprentice, about 3 years in. And basically, I was still working until 3 months ago. It took about 4 to 5 months for me to yeah, ultimately be in a position where I could leave my job. But yeah, story time, basically over the last 3 months, pretty much since I've left my job, I just wanted to travel. I've been to Dubai, Thailand, and then recently in Bali. And was loving Bali, absolutely loving it. And then I got really, really crook for a couple of weeks. But because, of the skills I learned and I learned how to manage my time properly, it didn't actually affect me because I was ahead. I'd planned ahead, and I managed to make over around $15,000 for those 2 weeks where I wasn't really working. So that is the importance of planning ahead. But for me personally, it was simply just wanting to actually enjoy my traveling more, but it then led to one of my biggest lessons. So yeah, your personal brand, you obviously mostly here are posting content or thinking about it. If you're not, you can still, take all this advice, whether it's, you want to get into sales and things of that nature, or you want to go down the content path. Your personal brand, it is your business. It has to be treated as a business. And a lot of people just look at it as something you can post on here or there. But if you really want to take this seriously, if you really, really want the results, it has to be treated as a business, right? And that says it a lot. It can't be left unfed. You got to treat it as it's a baby. Every single day, it has to be fed, has to be posted on. Stories have to be posted. But yeah, ultimately, me moving over to Bali, I'd been to Thailand, I'd been to Dubai, and I just felt I was always busy. I was doing 6, 7 hours a day, and I couldn't actually enjoy the countries I was in. And it was unreal. I wasn't on a job site. Um, but I wanted to actually, enjoy the life I'd created for myself, right? So that's where, I really started to learn time management and get the advice I needed, but it actually ended up leading to one of my biggest lessons. So as you see here, it was in Bali, absolutely fucked here. So it was like 3 or 4 weeks I was in Bali, loving it, and then came down with something in Bali and it cooked me. But at the beginning, I really just wanted to get ahead so I could enjoy traveling. So I could, get ahead early in the week, and then I could actually enjoy the countries I'm traveling in. But I ended up getting really, really sick, and because I was planning ahead and getting so ahead with my content, getting like 2 or 3 weeks ahead with my content, so I could enjoy traveling. It then ended up, when I got sick for those 2 weeks, I could keep, feeding my personal brand. I could keep posting on it like, I was all good. And that's pretty much the only reason I was still able to make money over those weeks. Um, yeah, was just because I did plan ahead, and it was a massive lesson and something, I'm going to definitely implement a lot more, and something, I really want to push for you guys to do. It'll make your life a whole lot easier. It'll make consistency a lot easier, but also, it'll open up freedom for your lives as well. Not only, does it, get you ready for unexpected life events because they're always going to happen. It's just, what is what it is. But it also, it makes the whole journey a lot more enjoyable because it unlocks freedom for you all. But, so how do we actually get ahead productively and efficiently? How do I get 2 or 3 weeks ahead where I had, 20 to 40 pieces of content ready to post? So the biggest thing is time management. What I do, what I've been taught to do is to get ahead nice and early in the week. So Monday, Tuesday, if you go to the gym, for example, more than likely you want to get legs done on a Monday or Tuesday. Get it done out of the week, because if it gets to a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, chances are you're probably not going to do it. Same sort of thing, applies here. You really want to manage your time, get ahead early in the week. Um, you want to focus on, so when I mentioned being productive and not busy, focus on the stuff that pushes the needle forward, the revenue generating tasks. So for me, for example, the main source of my income is my face, my content. So the main things I focus on early in the week are things like scripting, filming, editing. That's what, makes me the most money. That's what pushes the needle forward. So it wouldn't make sense for, on a Monday morning for me to do an appointment setting role play rather than focus on something else, if you know what I mean. So for you guys, whatever, you're looking to get out of this, focus first on at the start of the week, on the stuff that pushes the needle forward, the stuff that's going to get you closer to your goals. And then once you focus on that stuff, get it done, get it out of the way before, early in the week, then, you can focus on all that other stuff. It gives you more time to focus on the other stuff. But really getting into, these good habits early on, getting, the tasks that have to be done early in the week, dedicating 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever it may be, to getting them done early in the week, rather than just like scrambling day by day, trying to get 2 pieces of content here, 3 pieces there, trying to get a closing role play in maybe Wednesday. If you just dedicate, you really manage your time wisely, set up a routine, it can really, it will help you out massively. And a good way to do this, obviously, a lot of you are still working, and it does make it difficult. And I will get into that later because, I was going through a lot of that for the first 4 months, it is definitely hard to manage your time. But a big thing I'd recommend for all of you is to get into these deep work sessions. So deep work is effectively it's 2 to 3 hours of work. I do it in the morning, first thing in the morning, where it's you're not it's undis it's what's the word? You're not disrupted at all. So no phones, nothing around you. You're just, you're doing your deep work. You're getting it done out the way, no disruptions. Um, and getting into the routine of doing that every single morning or night, whenever you're more productive. I'm more productive in the mornings. But deep work is something, a lot of, I guess, entrepreneurs and, business sort of people do, which is where really, you put your phones in another room and you just, you're locked in on getting those tasks done, which makes you actually productive. Something I would be so bad with because I got fucked ADHD would be I'd be sitting here, I'd do like 20 minutes of work and then 3 hours has passed and I've been fucking scrolling on TikTok. So, just literally locking my phone in a safe or something just to get ahead is massive. And it makes you so much more productive. And you'll find that time blocking and getting those tasks done out of the way, no distractions, will make it a lot easier. Now, obviously, stuff does happen. Maybe you haven't got ahead. And that's where, you still can't make excuses for yourself. You're here for a reason. You've got to feed the business. You've got to feed the baby. You've got to feed your personal brand. So you've you've got to be able to innovate. You can't make excuses for yourself. You've always got to be on the offense. So you're always pushing forward no matter what setbacks you've got. So for me personally, when I was in Bali, obviously I had that 2 week backlog of content that I had pre-recorded, filmed, and scripted so I could enjoy my holiday. Ended up getting sick. But then, I had that there, but, I wasn't getting any better, right? So, what was I going to do? I didn't have any content there. I was running out. So I had to innovate. I had to keep the business running. And this is just an example of something I did. But the moral of it is to not make excuses. Obviously, stuff comes up, but for me, if something similar happens to you, where you're really trying to knuckle down with the content, something comes up in your life, and you don't have time to film something. Obviously, I wasn't in a position to record my face, as you can see. Um, Basically, I've picked this stitch. So I looked on my account, scrolled through my account. I couldn't film myself, and I need to get content out. So I went through my account. I looked through my most viral pieces. So this was a stitch, Bros Making Millions, like a drop shipping one that I stitched, and I got like 1 million views and a heap of comments, a heap of leads from that video. And this other one here was a body from another video that I recorded, if that makes sense. So a stitch here from one video, a body from another video that I then joined to make a different video, just to keep the needle pushing forward. And that ended up getting 300 comments. So I didn't have to do any work. I just simply downloaded this stitch, downloaded this video from my Instagram account, use this as the stitch, use this as the body of the content, and posted it. Didn't have to do anything. Took 5 minutes in my hospital bed because I ended up being in hospital. And just little things like that. You always got to be innovative, just to keep the needle pushing forward. But basically, the biggest takeaway out of all that is, we want to enjoy life. We don't want to be, making all this money, leaving our jobs just to be working another 9 to 5 at home. But it also sets you up for these unexpected life events, and it is something that is inevitable. And as I said, the business just can't stop running for a week. But really, the biggest things by far I want you to all take away out of this session, is definitely consistency. It is the number one key: consistency, consistency, consistency. If you're not showing up every day, it's going to stunt your growth. It's going to lead to burnouts eventually. But consistency, it's virtually impossible to realistically show up every day, 365, 24/7, right? But you have to be consistent. So, how do we break that down so it is a possibility, so we can reach our goals quicker? So, ultimately we all succeed here. Because, realistically, without consistency, if you're not showing up every day, you more than likely won't succeed. So before we keep going further, anyone got any questions? Everyone all good? Anything I can help with? All goods. Um, so another little story time here. Is how I made it to Dubai. So as you see here, Chippy, and then ended up making it to Dubai a week after actually leaving my job. And, you know, I'm no one special. It was a bit of a running joke when I was in Dubai how I actually made it there. I'm definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed, by a long shot. So it was actually a bit of a running joke that I made it there. But how did I actually make it there when no one really expected me to succeed when I joined? I was really just in the shadows doing my own thing for a long time. But the only reason I got to the position that I was in was 100% consistency every single day for those 4 months. I showed up and remained consistent. I've seen a lot of people come in. They're gifted speakers, they're gifted salespeople, um, and they're the people you'd think would come in and be, super consistent, super successful. Sorry, but they don't have the work rate, and the people who probably are succeeding now are people who work hard, who have good work ethic, and hard work will 1,000,000% of the time beat talent. So a lot of you guys here, you're probably a lot like myself. No one special, sort of just you know failed school, things of that nature, and it can be hard. There can be a lot of self-doubt there, but just it's if you brute force your way there, if you are consistent every day, it's we're in a space here where it really is just hard work. And I know, for me personally, that is, yeah, personally the only reason I'm in the position I'm in today, in today. But if there is any doubt at all, that you're not good enough, please look at me as an example. Yeah, it's crazy that the potential that can be wasted, and then the people who end up succeeding. But how do we actually keep consistent on those days where there's doubts, where it's hard, and we speak about it a lot. In ABC, and it's simply, your vision and your why, having a strong vision and a why. So, early days when you just join, you're locked in at the beginning. It's sort of motivation the first couple of weeks, and then that dies off. So what's going to keep you pushing once that motivation does die off, right? Um, and you got to build discipline for yourself. And how do you do that? How do you show up on those days um, where it is hard? And yeah, you really just can't have any days off. Consistency is like the number one thing. But for me, the biggest thing that kept the needle pushing forward for me was always, on those days where I couldn't be fucked, where it was going to be too hard. Oh, am I going to do it? Is this the right thing? Was always resorting back to my why, which was obviously, like most of us here, our family, giving back to our family, and the vision we've got, for ultimately within the next 3 to 6 months where we will be if we remain consistent, and always resorting back to that, in the times where it was tough, in the times where I didn't think it would work out. Just keeps you pushing. But yeah, it's definitely not an easy road. But if you haven't already, I'd definitely recommend you to write down, why you're here and the vision that you've got for yourself within the next 3, 6, 12 months, whatever it may be. Write that down, and whenever it's tough, go back and look at that, and not only just look at it, actually think of, first off, how you'll feel, reaching it. Being able to travel the world, being able to give back, being able to spend more time with loved ones. Like, actually, sit there in your thoughts for a bit, and feel that feeling of actually making it out of your job, having all this freedom, being able to do all the things you've joined to do. But then also think about what it's going to be like in 3, 6, 12 months time if you do give up, and the day you gave in makes the next time you want to give in a lot easier, and then it'll trickle down from there, and that's not what we want. So also think about the feeling of not succeeding, being in the same position in 6 to 12 months time, and that should really keep the needle pushing forward, for all of you. um but I guess the biggest, for a lot of you, it's probably hard to, I know for me personally, when I was on these calls early days, listening to some of the other boys who were making all this money, it was hard to relate. It was hard to really picture myself in their shoes. But does this, the time management, the planning ahead, the consistency, does it apply to you if you're still working? And it definitely does. And it was something, now in the position where I've been able to leave my job. I sort of had to figure it out my own way. I was burning myself out quick. I was trying to post content every day and then do my role plays and get ahead that way. But I think the biggest tips I can give for all of you is, um, that something needs to be sacrificed. So if a part of you, a part of the old you needs to be sacrificed to become the new version of yourself. So whether that's, sacrificing your weekends, for me, I'm a degenerate. I love getting on the piss with the boys, but that had to get sacrificed for those 3 to 4 months. The weekends were spent solely on making sure I got ahead for the work week ahead. So, that was scripting, filming, editing, 7 to 14 pieces on those weekends. So then I could, if something came up at work, if I had to stay back at work, if there was a family emergency, I still had pieces of content to post throughout the week. So my weekends where usually, I'd be out with the boys doing who knows what, they got sacrificed for those 3 to 4 months. Another thing that could be sacrificed is your sleep for a little bit. A 2 to 3 or 1 to 2 to 3 month sacrifice of your sleep, where maybe you're not getting those 2 to 3 extra hours that ideally you want in the long run. When you look back on it in 6 to 12 months' time, it's a sacrifice that I guess is necessary to make sure you're keeping the needle pushing forward. And something, we haven't really spoke about yet is, having accountability partners. So, networking with the group. ABC's, it's not only just, an educational platform. It's definitely a networking platform. You see people every day meeting up, living together. We're all like-minded people here. We're all, we might be a bit rough on the edges, but we've got big goals and aspirations, and that's why we're all here. That's why we've all taken the leap. So, build connections, build relationships in the group. But as a whole, if you are still all working, I'll give you more more tips soon. But if you are still working a job, full-time job, does this still apply for you? Obviously, it's a big thing for me in the position I'm in now, where I basically am working for myself. But I'd almost say it's more important for all of you guys to be applying this stuff, the time management, the getting ahead, because you're even busier than anyone else when you're working these long days, and it is hard, but it is a necessity to end up in your desired situation. So then, if and once you leave your job, the biggest things from there, obviously getting in routine. So that's something I struggled with a lot the first probably 2, 3, 4 weeks once I was actually out of my job. If a few of you are in a position, I know Ezra joined before, he's quitting his job this week. Congratulations, my brother. But, for you, bro, for example, for someone who's about to leave their job, or for all of you who are new with obviously the end goal to leave their jobs, routine's a massive thing. So getting in that routine from day dot. So that's something I personally struggle with the first 2 or 3 weeks. I'd wake up, I'd have brekkie, I'd do an hour here, I'd go to work, I'd scroll for 2 hours. Actually having a routine in place, because you've got all this freedom now. The biggest thing, the Augustus and some of the people in ABC have told me is the biggest reason they will see people fail once they've got out of their jobs is because they've got all this freedom now, right? The end goal was, when you joined, all of you here want to leave your jobs. That's the first thing you want to do, right? And then once you've left your jobs and you've got all this freedom, it's like, what do I do now? And then you get complacent. So it's getting that routine in place early. And the biggest thing, I guess, over this whole journey is for you guys to get into these good habits early. Ezra?
Yeah, like no, I kind of feel on you with that because like even like this past week, like fuck, I just haven't been going to work just because I'm like, oh, like it's my last couple of days.
Yeah.
I just can't be fucked. But like, yeah, like I feel like you kind of get like a lot of more free time,
Hmm.
and then you kind of like you don't tend to be as productive as if you were like still working a job because like when you're working a job, you're so hungry to kind of get out of that position.
Yep.
So like, yeah, it's just I've been kind of finding it a little bit like challenging, staying like always hungry for it.
Yep, yep,
No, you know what I mean?
100%. 100%, bro. And that's something I struggled with massively as well. Like when you're first out of your job, it's like you've got, 12, 24 hours in the day to actually pursue this full time. But I found myself the first 2 or 3 weeks doing less work than when I only had 2 or 3 hours a night. So
Hmm.
it is really hard. But for you, bro, it's really just, habits, to break bad habits, it's hard, but to get into good habits, the first 2 weeks, it's like quitting smoking, quitting something. The first 2 weeks are gonna fucking suck, obviously. But the first 2 weeks, for you, for example, bro, over the next 2 weeks, I'd force yourself to get into this, like get into these routines where, say you're up at 7 or 8, you're getting your 3 or 4 hours of working with no distractions. And then you'll find, you're being productive, you're getting all your work done, and then you're actually enjoying your life after that, bro. So you can enjoy the rest of the day. Um, but definitely that hunger is something that fades. And I said it, I think, on the last masterclass I did is, you're when you're actually out of your job, it sounds stupid, but you almost miss the hunger you've got, and you'll never get that back when you're still working, you're hustling so hard, you're up late at night, you're locking yourself in your room on the weekends. You miss how hungry you were because once you've ultimately got out of your job, you got all this freedom, this dream life you created for yourself. It's like what keeps you pushing, and that also resorts back to your vision and your why. So I know the biggest one is obviously once you're out of your job, you're probably still not in a position to retire your parents. You might have a bit of money to travel and stuff, but just to find that bigger reasoning, what's going to keep you pushing once you're actually out of your job, because a lot of people do drop off. But as I said, getting into these habits early that I'm speaking about, managing your time while you're still working, getting into these routines, having accountability partners, being consistent every day. If you can get into these habits now, if you're 1 week in, 1 month in, 2 months in, whatever it may be, it will make this whole transition from going from, having absolutely no time to when you've got all this time a lot smoother. And you won't have to go through, I guess, all the mistakes that I've made along the way. So I'll do a bit of a live demonstration of, I guess, what my week looks like at the minute, as someone who is pretty much self-employed, managing my own time, managing my own hours. So basically, I get the bulk of my work done on a Sunday, on a Monday and a Tuesday morning. And then, for the rest of the week, obviously stuff comes up. At the minute, yeah, I'm getting like the bulk of it done early in the week, early in the morning, done at the way one, because then I can enjoy the rest of the week. I can enjoy the life I've created for myself. It keeps me enjoying my work, enjoying the life rather than, doing it every single day and it getting repetitive. And that's something I sort of fell into recently, just, feeling so repetitive every single day. So basically of a Sunday night, I'm doing content full time. So this is for someone doing content full time on a Sunday night. My Mondays consist of just scripting. So on a Sunday night, I will write down 21 pieces that I've ideated throughout the week. So when I'm just scrolling, I'll save pieces that I want to model off. I'll come up with ideas. That's sort of what the rest of the week is for. Just, finding new pieces for the week ahead. And then on a Sunday night, I'll sit there, write down in my notes what I'm going to actually script the next day. So I'm not waking up on a Monday with nothing there to script. Like I've got to find it. Then I'm scrolling, so you've got it there. You've got this in your notes. And yeah, it's all there for you to go Monday morning at 7 o'clock, for example, for me. So these are, yeah, on a Sun, like, so for example, last Sunday night, these were all the pieces that I was going to script Monday morning. So 21 pieces, 3 pieces a day for the whole week. Something I also do every single day is to have a to-do list. So obviously at the top here are the revenue generating activities. So every day something new will come up. Like for example, I had to, organize this masterclass. That's something I might have had to do on a Thursday. But because I got ahead with my content and the stuff that makes me the most money, doing this masterclass, planning this out was enjoyable for me. I didn't have to worry about getting 3 pieces out, 15 stories, a YouTube video, because that's already done. That's sorted early in the week, early in the morning's done. And I can do more stuff like this. That is enjoyable. So every single night, before I go to bed as well, to do tomorrow. So script last night's ideation. So this was on a Monday. Script the masterclass. Film 6 pieces to get ahead for the Monday and Tuesday. Obviously some other stuff. This is actually like an actual example. So, gym, bank, doctor's appointment, had a call to take that night. But basically every single night. So because you find yourself scrambling a lot when you've got, all this freedom, and it's like you got a million things you needed. Well, especially for me, like with someone with ADHD, you got a million things you need to do and you have to do stuff. If just the night before or throughout the day before, you just have what you need to do. The top priorities, get them done like at once, and then, work your way through it from from most important to least important. And organization is also a big thing. So, if you're scripting in your notes or on a Google Doc, it can get pretty messy. So, for me personally, I use something called Notion. Marcel helped out with this with me early on. So, if you want access to, my like Notion where you can, it's basically just makes it really organized. So I have like all the titles for the pieces of content I'm going to post. As you see, scripted, posted, recorded, and I just sort of update them as I go. It just keeps it organized, keeps everything from just being everywhere. That's something I do really struggle with, is just, early on getting everything was just everywhere. So just having, being organized, and that comes with being able to manage your time. But basically, doing your tasks in bulk is a massive thing. So when I say that, Monday for me is scripting, just scripting, not scripting three pieces, then going and recording two, and then editing one, and then scripting another four. And you'll be a lot, when I say productive, not busy. That's sort of the best example I can give. So if your sole task to complete is just to script, then you're going to be so much more efficient. You can script out 21 pieces in 2 hours easily, rather than going like scripting two, going to film one. Oh, there's my phone. Oh, I'm going to scroll for a bit. Oh, now I'm editing. Like you will be nowhere near as productive. A 2 hour task will turn into like a 3 day thing. So doing tasks in bulk is huge. It makes life so much easier. So for me, Monday mornings, script 21 pieces. Tuesday mornings, I will film those 21 pieces. That's a mission in itself, having to change outfits so I don't look like I've worn the same clothes for 7 days of the week, but that's all part of it. Filming those 21 pieces, and then yeah, now like I've sort of just got someone sorted out to edit them for me, but editing might be the day after or something like that. But this leads to efficiency. This leads to just getting them done out of the day, out of the way early in the week, which leads to no procrastination, which is not what we want. Which, if you do these things in bulk, you get them done out of the way early in the week, it will lead to that consistency and that success we're after. Now, I'll just briefly touch on, accountability, and the importance of it. Now, I strictly joined ABC because I saw the value in the training and what it had to offer. I never thought, the relationships I would have built, the importance of the community that's here would have been a more substantial reason why I got to the position I was in. But, finding accountability partners and networking is huge. People who just feel like mates, and then you can go and meet up with and see these people in real life. I remember meeting, I barely made any money, and I went and met Nelson and Bryant in Melbourne one night, just out of the blue. I'd finished work, went and saw them. Just seeing them in real life, like those two were really killing it. Then I wasn't, and just getting to pick their mind a bit. And then pretty much the week after was when it really started to take off. But just build relationships, have fun with it. We don't want this to feel like another 9 to 5 for any of you. You have fun with it, take the piss, push each other to be better, be competitive about it. I don't like me personally, I'm like real competitive. So, when one of the boys calls me and goes, "Why haven't you posted yet?" And it's like, I got to post 2 times more than you today. Just like stuff like that. It is crucial. It makes it fun. It makes it enjoyable. And then when you're in a position with all this freedom, it's, I was really worried about, what if, like when I first started, what if I do begin to be successful? All my mates are still working, but once you build these relationships, you end up being better mates with your in real life mates, because you're like minded, and you go and travel with ABC people, as you see every day, with people moving in together, going traveling together. So accountability, building relationships, it makes it fun, but it will also, on those days where you're down, you can jump on a Zoom call, you can jump on a FaceTime and actually have a bro down and actually have a bit of a deep chat. What's going on? Because there's lots of days where you will be doubting yourself, and just having that support cushion, that person there that you've really gelled with, to just hear you out, give you advice, and keep you pushing is huge. Like a good example, me and Bryant, we get along real well. We only live like 40 minutes away from each other, but this is like, you know, what our days look like. So he'll call me in the morning. I might have slept in. He'll call me complacent. They'll be like, "Fuck you. How many stories you posted?" So it's just like a constant back and forth where we make it fun, but then we go and travel together. We might get on the piss, but then when it's time to work, it's time to work as well. If I'm going through it, I've struggled a bit lately with my content and with, I guess, my income last week. Just speaking to Brian about that, going back and forth, it does help, but you also, you make it fun and you make it more enjoyable. Now, with what we've all covered, before we get into this next part, is there any more questions before we keep moving forward? Aqua.
Hey Cooper. I was just wondering, you said you've got an editor now. I've had a few editors like reach out to me, to like, they've sent me packages to edit my reels and stuff. And I was kind of just wondering, like, what price can you expect, or how can you tell who's a scammer? Or like, how can you
Um,
reach out for editors?
it's a bit hard. I personally like you do get a lot of outreach. The more followers you get, you will get like the bullshit that comes with it. Me personally, I actually Nelson found an editor and then gave me his. But with with prices and stuff, it does vary. It can be pretty pricey, but um yeah, it's sort of hit or miss. Like you gotta almost treat like when you're talking to those people who are outreaching, if you are genuinely interested, that's where your sales calls, your sales skills can actually come in. You can sort of challenge them and really info gather, like because if they don't have the information there, that like you'll be able to spot the bullshit. So really push them on why like challenge them like why would I choose you over XYZ, or and then you can downsell them a bit, if I do 20 a month, then do it a bit cheaper, things like that. But yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, that's some really good advice. Thanks. Thank
all
you.
good, all good. Sweet. So obviously we just covered a bit, but the biggest things, obviously being consistent, but breaking that down. So managing our time, having accountability partners, planning ahead, doing tasks in bulk. But the thing that will really separate you from, I guess a lot of the people in the online space in general is the speed that you actually implement all this stuff. So, act on this tomorrow. That's my biggest piece of advice, is to act on this tomorrow. Don't wait, don't procrastinate, because you're just giving yourself excuses to, maybe Saturday I'll do it. But, if you're uh, money loves speed. I remember the first thing I looked through in the training portal, that's what I saw, and that's something that resonated with me. And that's also something that really does separate, I guess the top few from a lot of the others, is how quick do you act on the advice you're given from the people in the position I guess you want to be in. So, I can guarantee the people who do act on this tonight or act on this tomorrow, I'd be 95% sure, they will be living their dream life, within 2025. So it is important to always act on the advice you're given. So, for example, how to act on this. If I were to have gotten this advice, what I would have done. So today's Wednesday, right? If you're still working a full-time job, this is sort of how I'd go about it. Because obviously you might not have the freedom on a Monday or a Tuesday morning to on a Monday or a Tuesday morning to, get that work done. So tomorrow I would plan and ideate and script for 2 to 3 hours after work, before work, whenever you can do it. Dedicate 2 or 3 hours tomorrow to finding, 14 pieces maybe, and then scripting those pieces. Then Friday and Saturday morning, I'd film and edit those pieces. It should only take 2 to 3 hours to script those pieces, 4 to 6 hours to film and edit over Friday and Saturday morning. That's only 10 hours max. That's a day's honest day's work in a 9 to 5. But not only, it might sound like a lot, but then you got the whole week ahead of you, the whole rest of the weekend ahead of you to actually enjoy that time and get into the routine of doing this every Thursday and Friday, or you might want to do it on a Monday or a Tuesday night to get it done out of the start of the week. Whatever works for you. I won't tell you what days or what times to do it. Whatever works for you, do that. But dedicate these days to, for just 2 out of the 7 days of the week to get the bulk of it done. So that way, why? So we can enjoy you can enjoy your weekends. You're enjoying your life still. It's not just like ABC, the training modules, coaching calls is your life, and it gets dull, it gets boring, and it consumes your life, and then you lose passion for it. It gives you the ability to spend more time with your family on weekdays, after work, before work, because you're not having to try and get, a reel out or something like that. It gives you more time with your family on weekends. If you get it done Friday night, Saturday morning, then you got all the Saturday, all the Sunday with your families. And it can then also allow you to fully focus on sales throughout the week. So obviously, I don't want to say dedicate 2 days of the week to getting all this stuff done so you can then do absolutely nothing for 5 days. Not at all. You still got to push the needle forward, but it's just getting those nitty-gritty tasks that have to be done that will push the needle forward done at once. So then you can, focus on things like sales throughout the week. So you're not like a day, like if you're trying to get 2 to 3 pieces of content out, you're working 8 to 10 hours in a day. and trying to get on 3 sales calls, a couple role plays. It's not sustainable. It's not possible. So prioritize 1 or 2 days of the week to push the needle forward. Leads to not only more enjoyment in your life, it sets you up for unexpected life events, which leads to our consistency and our success. And the last thing we want is burnouts. Yes, Will.
Hey, bro, did you start making content prior to making money? And if so, what avenue did you go down with your content?
It's a good question, bro. And yeah, I was pretty much in on posting content from the beginning. Wasn't really planning
Yeah.
to, but I did, just really to document the journey. So yeah, it took me 2 to 3 months, I'd really say, to get any results in my content. So it was a bit of a struggle. Obviously, the credibility there helps. So the first month
Yeah.
or two, I probably neglected the sales side of things. But then I looked at it from like, all right, so if I can learn sales, I got an appointment setting role, got because it was really hard to get results with content without the results. So I ended up getting an appointment setting role, then having the results from appointment setting, showing that in my content, and going about it that way. But also just in the meantime, like it doesn't always have to be it's I know it's probably hard to like model off someone like myself now because it's like, I show all the money and it is
Mm.
hard, but just talking about your day-to-day life, talking about the struggles, why you joined, and people will relate to that. Even being a bit controversial at times, stuff that has nothing to do with make money online, just to sort of build that following, because the more followers you can get as well, it's sort of like, he hasn't got 10 followers. He's sort of got, like I grew to like 1,000 followers on TikTok just from like shitting on the trade, saying stuff that pissed like 50-year-old men off. And then they all comment and fight about it. So just stuff like that. But also definitely do not neglect the sales side of things, bro. Sales, even when you're in the position, I guess I am now, sales is everything. If you don't have that, it will be something you do regret. And that's something I definitely regret, was neglecting it for so long. But not only because you can get those results from sales, but it also just helps you later on down the track. Sales is, everything with communication just helps in your day-to-day life. But yeah, I definitely go about it like that, bro.
Sweet, bro, legend.
All good. But yeah, ultimately, the last thing we want is any burnouts. Burnouts will cook us. So by by not doing what I said to do over the next few days, by prioritizing stuff 1 to 2 days where you're getting most of it done, you will burn yourself out. As I said before, if you're working 10 hours days, trying to join 3 calls, do role plays every day, post 15 stories, post 3 pieces of short form content on 3 different platforms, like how is that really sustainable? It's not. You're going to have a day off, and we really don't want any days off. Consistency every single day is everything. So do yourself a favor. The last thing we want is a burnout, because you'll become complacent, which leads to no success, which leads to no consistency, which then leads to no success. And success means freedom, the life you desire, all your dreams come into fruition. So, it really is just the early stages. It's a grind, it's a hustle, but when you look back on it, you'll really appreciate the work you've put in. And you cannot fail with this. Everybody has access to the same resources and opportunities. It's just how they use them and how consistently they use them. I'm no more special than the person next to me. Everyone here has access to the exact same thing. So you cannot fail if you don't give up. But just a brief recap over everything today, and I hope we've got some sort of value out of it. But a lack of consistency is the reason people will fail. It is the biggest reason people will fail. People won't show up every day. People will burn themselves out. They won't be consistent. And consistency really is the only reason I'm in the position I'm in today, was just showing up every day, posting a reel every day, posting, TikToks every day, whatever it might have been. It was just an everyday thing where it does become just part of your life. Like, as I said before, with like the getting into good habits, it can take a bit of time to get used to. But, after those 2 to 4 weeks where you've sort of created this new life, it just becomes like a way of life. So it's just like second nature to, get in the car and talk some shit on your phone or whatever it may be. Consistency, it really isn't hard if you do it like this. If you manage your time, if you plan ahead, it really isn't hard, but it is virtually impossible doing it day by day. That's why time management and accountability is so, so important. But all in all, everyone here wants you to win. We're all here for the same reason. I'm no different to you. Everyone here has also been at your stage at one time or another. I joined one day in April. Someone else, might be a month or two in. We've all been, the boys ahead of me. I can leech off we've all been in your stage one or another. So don't be afraid to reach out. No one's going to think it's a dumb question or anything like that. Really, really use the community. I can't stress that enough. Like I was a bit of a fly on the wall, I guess, the first few months, bit nervous, didn't want to speak, didn't want to share my opinion, just sort of going about it on my own. I think one of the best sayings that I've heard is you can hunt rabbits alone and you'll starve, or you can all hunt a woolly mammoth as a pack, and everyone eats good. So use each other, use the community, find accountability partners, manage your time, set yourself up, enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Don't make this another 9 to 5. Enjoy your life. And the way you do that is by you still need to get your tasks done because we want to reach this dream life, but still enjoy your life. That's why it is important to manage your time well and enjoy your goals with all of us as a team. But really, every one of us here has done the hardest part. You've taken that leap into the unknown. You've invested into yourself. It is the hardest part, getting over that first hump. So, now you're here with us all. So take the advice, listen to everything, implement it straight away. You can, I remember like it was always exciting for me. It's like I could only be a month away, one big break away from literally, having it all. So it is exciting. You can be only weeks or months away from changing it all. If you do, obviously just listen, implement, and get into good habits early. So you do set yourself up for when that does happen. You always want to be prepared to scale. But yeah, envision that life that you desire in a few months from now, being in that position, how that'll make you feel, and use that as fuel every day. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I got. So any questions, let me know. Let's get a Q&A going. Come on, there's got to be some questions. Aqua.
Hey, Coop, do you post 3 reels a day?
Yeah, so that's ideally like 2 to 3, 2 minimum. I do post 3 a day, but I've found that it's just getting very repetitive, the stuff I'm saying. So I'm sort of just going back to posting like one of the, where I came from to where I am now, and more of like a vlog, just sort of backing off. But definitely in the early stages, getting out as many shots as you can is 100% ideal. But yeah, I'm still posting 2 or 3 times a day, but two at a bare minimum.
Cool. How do you find the motivation to like keep posting when you know that you're constantly just repeating yourself? Like, how do you come up with new visions? Do you like ask ChatGPT or like I don't know?
Yeah, that's like something I've really gone through now, because obviously I've always, the whole journey leading up to it, like leading up to quitting my job, I did sort of have something different to talk about every day. And then, I've been traveling a bit, but since being back in Australia, I have felt very repetitive. And it's really just getting those, the repetitive ones sort of out the way at the start of the week, where I have like 7 to 14 of them ready to post that I don't have to worry about. And then, now I can sort of do the vlogs where, obviously every daily vlog or something like that is a bit different because you're doing something different. But also, spend it is, the best way to ideate is scrolling through reels and stuff that you relate to, stuff you want to post, like, save it. So that way you get onto that, and then spending, half an hour every day ideating through reels that you can model off. Obviously you don't like directly copy it, but turn it into your own. That's definitely the best way, because it's virtually impossible to come up with like 21 new ideas out of your head every week. You've always got to try and find what's working, like what's trending, and then going from there.
Yeah, cool. Just one more question before I
No,
stop. Have you found that you've gained back more time now that you have an editor? Like, if you could go back to when you first started, if you like had the money, obviously, would you get an editor straight up?
Yeah, like that's sort of, I guess, the end goal, like eventually, is to really the only task you need to be doing is your face. So obviously you have to film yourself. So getting things like you can get copywriters, you can get editors, that's sort of the end goal, because that is really, after a year, 2 years, whatever it may be, when you're earning enough money and you can sort of afford that, that does unlock the freedom. That's why I went down the content path, because there is that freedom where it's like, I can film 21 pieces in a day, send it off to the script, like the scripters give me the scripts, editors. But early on, it's something you have to go through. Like I feel like, obviously, yeah, you're probably not in a position like if you are still working, I probably like couldn't have afforded it. And honestly, yeah, I still appreciate the work that had to get put in because like now looking back on it, all those days, nights where I was scripting and editing, you do appreciate it so much more. So I probably wouldn't change it. Obviously, now it's nice just to send stuff off to an editor and not have to worry about it because it does unlock more time during my day. But it's probably not something I would change. It makes you appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, cool. Thanks so much, Coop. You've
All
answered
good.
everything.
All good. No worries. Nash.
Yeah, what's going on, buddy?
Brev.
Just wanted to get a rough number. How many videos for the week do you reckon I should aim for so I can, like what you said, gain some time back? Because obviously me posting like now, I'm only smashing what two reels a day or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to start locking in on the weekends and smashing all the videos out. So how like in the numbers, how
Yeah.
many videos should I aim for?
Good question, bro. And like in my experience, it's 21's like the number we try and hit 3 a day is like optimal. But what I
Yeah,
would do, bro, is I'd get 10 done on like a Friday or a Saturday night, 10 scripted, filmed, edited. So that way you've got like at least one a day for and a
yeah,
couple you got two a day, and then I knew throughout the week at least two or three of the days I could sit in my car. I know you're a trader, so if you can sit there in your high vis, which is a visual hook, if you're sitting there in a high vis, I knew I could get another 3 to 6 of them out as well. So that sort of
yeah,
gets you to a point where it's at least two a day, but I'd sort of put time in to get probably 10 would be ideal if you are planning to do a few throughout the week as well.
yeah. All right, sweet. Cheers for that, bud.
All good. Will.
When starting out with content, bro, would you recommend focusing on a certain platform or YouTube, like TikTok, Instagram, or what worked best for you, or how do you tie them all together?
Yeah, good question, bro. Obviously, we want to be on all of them, like no matter what. But I think that the easiest way, it is hard to grow Instagram up. So like Instagram, when you have no followers, it's really hard to get views. Yeah, as Nash just said, TikTok is something where your first video could literally get 1 million views. I know Asher, he posted like he really, really didn't want to post content for a couple months. Posted one TikTok of him just, out in the fucking desert in his high vis, and it got like I don't, like hundreds of thousands of views and literally changed his life. So TikTok is one where um it can blow up in the first few posting, does have the possibility to literally change it all for you on any post at the beginning. Instagram doesn't really do that. But obviously still whatever you're posting on TikTok, post on Instagram as well and on YouTube Shorts, for example. But TikToks, yeah, definitely the more raw yap, when you're just sitting there talking to the camera, talking about, construction or whatever it may be, that seems to do better on TikTok. But yeah, still making sure you're omnipresent. If your TikTok gets banned, for example, you've still got your Instagram there. Still posting on all platforms, but definitely at the beginning, TikTok is one that has like, can you don't need a lot of followers to blow up.
Yep, sweet. And then you reckon posting more of your edited content on Instagram works better?
I'd post both, bro. Like, so the edited stuff does work better on Instagram, but
Yeah.
there's no point like trying to get 21 pieces, like 21 separate pieces for TikTok and then 21 for Instagram. Then you've got to do 42 pieces. So if you just do, half and half sort of thing, even like early days, pretty much prioritize TikTok and put everything from TikTok onto my Instagram. And then when you're actually getting like you start getting leads on TikTok, this is sort of like the way I went about it was, you get people commenting CTAs on TikTok, and then obviously say DM me on IG, and then they start following you on Instagram, and then you start getting more consistent views on Instagram, and then you can start going into the edited stuff as well.
Yeah.
That's sort of the way I went about it, but yeah,
Sweet. Cheers, bro. Legend.
all good. Any more questions? Lachlan.
When you're working full time still, you're using your weekends basically to script and film basically, or during the week?
I'd use my weekends, bro. So that was something where, yeah, I could have used like weekdays and stuff, but for me, it was like I still was going to the gym. I didn't want to like sacrifice that. I was pretty much looking at my life and what sacrifices I wanted to make, or I like obviously didn't want to make, but what didn't need to be in my life to keep the needle pushing forward, and that was going out on weekends. So I wanted to keep fit. I wanted to keep in the gym. That's something I did after work. Doing it after work, you're probably not going to be as productive because you'll be worn out. So weekends was just something for me where I was like, yeah, don't go out and drink piss. Instead, work on your future.
Mhm.
Kem.
Hey, brother. Hey, just thanks for all the teachings and the lessons. You're really enjoying it. I've just got a question about. I've been scaffolding for like 20 years, or almost 20 years now, and I've got like that old school generation where they're watching me do what I'm doing with the content and all that, and they're kind of just waiting on the sidelines, and it's a bit deflating sometimes when I'm putting out content. I'm actually getting people reaching out,
Yeah.
asking about what I'm doing, and they ask that question where it's like, "Have you made any money yet?" And I'm like, "Nah." And they kind of just sit on the fence. Like, how do you get over that when you see like people online making heaps of money? They put up that little statement of how much money they made, and I'm not at that stage yet, so it can be quite deflating sometimes. How do you get over that?
It can be a hard one, bro. But honestly, like it's just really sharing, like being open, raw, like honest and transparent with your journey. Now, yeah, as I said before, like something like you could do, obviously keep posting your content, but then really try to push into the sales side of things. But yeah, it can be deflating, bro. But like it's sort of just it is what it is. Like, people for me, bro, it was extremely deflating. People, talk their shit. This isn't going to work out. But then, for the people who are actually just following you for the open, honest, transparent Kem who's just trying to do something better with his life, and they watch that journey from day 1 to 2, 3 months in, where you see your first results, and then 2 months after that, you've quit your job, and then they will come around and they will, decide they want to go down the same path or whatever it may be. So you will find, I know a lot of like Marcel, for example, he never posted content until he was out of his job. And that's something he's like sort of regretted. He never documented the journey. So just documenting the journey, bro, your day-to-day life. Obviously, people will talk their shit. It's always going to happen. No one will talk shit on you that's in a better position than you are. Doesn't make sense. So just always, and always use it as motivation. Like just always like in the back of your head, know that it's going to work out. And when it does, like it'll just, you don't even have to say it to them. They'll be following along, hoping you fail, and then it'll work out. But it can be deflating, bro, but it's sort of just one of those things. Like, obviously, keep focusing on the sales. Just try not to focus on like the external stuff too much. Just focus on you. Focus on you keeping the needle pushing forward. And all that stuff will sort of just go to the back of your head once it all starts working out for you.
Oh man, thank you very much, brother.
All good, brother. Any more?
What's good? It was like buzzy when I think I first seen like your couple of your videos of like your last week of leaving
Yeah,
and shit like that. And I always seen like pop up on my For You page and shit like that.
yeah,
And then like now fucking it's pretty buzzy because like I'm leaving my job on Friday. So
yeah.
it's pretty buzzy to see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah.
it's something. It's a feeling you'll never forget, bro. Soak it all up, enjoy it. Like it's a crazy feeling. Just it doesn't feel real, honestly. Like I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like just the journey, bro. The journey to get in there, the grind, the hustle, just it all working out, bro. I feel like everyone else just keep on that mission because it's a crazy feeling once you hand your 2 weeks in and it's fuck. It takes a long time. It's 2 weeks, but it's a
Mm,
crazy feeling, bro. Friday can't come quick enough, eh?
mm. Nah, cheers for that. Cheers for the masterclass.
No, all good, all good. We'll leave it there, but yeah, I'll speak to Nat about that. The content review stuff. Just reviewing the sessions, every week. Obviously, it takes a couple minutes. It's just to improve everything. But no, appreciate all your time. And yeah, look forward to seeing you all on that leaderboard and having a big, massive 2025.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Coop.
brother.